Good morning and good evening to everybody here. I would like to thank, first of all, the organizers for giving me this opportunity. So my talk is on photodynamic cancer therapy of silver at Ag at ZrO2 core shell nanoparticles in vitro. So we all know cancer is one of the dreaded diseases in the world. The treatments like chemotherapy, radiation, etc. are have some limitations such as side effects and all. So here the photodynamic therapy is one of the emerging treatment modalities for cancer that takes the advantage of interaction between light and a photosensitizing agent to initiate cell death. Actually, the drug is, that is the sensitizer. Usually a sensitizer is injected into the body. The sensitizer concentrates in the tumor cells site. Then it is activated by suitable light of suitable wavelength. Then it produces the molecular transfers the energy, it goes into triplet state and transfers the energy, its energy to the molecular oxygen present in tissues or cells. That molecular oxygen will be converted into superoxide or usually singlet oxygen, which is cytotoxic. Thereby, the tumor is selectively destroyed. This is the principle behind photodynamic therapy, that is, two individually non-toxic components, that is sensitizer, separately present, it is not toxic. Light irradiated alone, it is not toxic, but two individually non-toxic components brought together to cause a harmful effect in the presence of oxygen. That is the principle behind photodynamic therapy. So the photosensitizers. First of all, the photosensitizers, the conventional photosensitizers are organic dyes such as dihametoporphyrin, photoporphyrin, phthalocyanins, naphthalocyanins, etc. They have their own limitations. So we have, so in this context, to overcome such drawbacks of conventional photosensitizers, nowadays researchers are concentrated. They consider the possibility of using non-toxic semiconducting nanoparticles in PDT as photosensitizers. So hence, we have referred this as nano PDT. So advantages behind nano PDT is selective. So the photosensitizing agent selectively accumulates in the cancer cells and not in normal cells. It can be given before, after, or adjuvantly with other standard therapies such as chemotherapy without no contraindications. It has minimum side effects. It is of low cost. It is repeatable. It is PDT can be given again and again. So why nano PDT? So nanoparticles have the following advantages over the conventional organic photosensitizers. They are photostable and non-toxic. They have large absorption cross-section, good photoluminescence quantum yields, and long emission lifetimes. Due to their adjustable surface chemistry, they can be modified to become water-soluble, biocompatible, and target-specific. Hence, we have decided to prepare core shell nanoparticles as photosensitizers in the place of organic photosensitizers. So core shell nanoparticles have a better choice in biomedical sciences because of their highly controlled optical properties. Hence, we prepared silver at ZrO2, that is silver as core and ZrO2 as shell, that is core shell nanoparticles, Ag at ZrO2 core shell nanoparticles. So this is a flowchart for the synthesis. Solution 1 is made by mixing, dissolving zirconium isopropoxide, 20 millimolar zirconium isopropoxide and equimolar zirconium isopropoxide and acetyl acetone in 30 ml of isopropanol. Then solution 2 is prepared by dissolving silver nitrate in millicube water and DMF was also added. So this mixture, solution 1 and 2 were mixed and stirred for 10 minutes and refluxed for 1 hour at 60 degree to get a greenish black precipitate. So it is dispersed by sonication, washed with toluene to get and redissolved in isopropanol, and the solvent isopropanol was evaporated to get a greenish black powder of silver at ZrO2. So these are experimental methods. Then we use the nanoparticles, coarser nanoparticles for doing photohemolysis. For photohemolysis, we have prepared 0.5% erythrocyte suspension. Then it was the light used is from LED at 450 nanometer for irradiating the sample, and that is the sample were irradiated with this suitable wavelength 415 nanometer. The irradiated cell suspension was centrifuged at 1500 rpm and the supernatant was pipeted out, and the OD at 413 was measured using a spectrophotometer for calculating the percent hemolysis. So cell viability was done using MTT assay. The cell viability studies was carried out in HeLa cell lines using LED source. So characterization of coarser nanoparticles. So here we have used UV visible, XRD and TEM for characterizing the formation of silver at ZrO2 coarser nanoparticles. The absorption, the UV visible absorption, the figure shows the UV visible absorption spectrum of these coarser particles. The absorption peak at maximum absorption at 425 denotes the presence of silver at Ag ZrO2. Usually Ag absorbs at below nearly 400. The redshift is due to the presence of the outer shell, that is ZrO2 semiconductor cell. So this is the XRD pictures of the XRD diffractogram of air-dried silver coarser nanoparticles, that is figure A, shows the presence of 2 theta values at 38, 44 and 64 corresponds to these planes 111, 200, 22 and 220 crystal planes of silver crystal respectively, which are typical of face-centered cubic structure of silver. So here there is no the presence of there is the zirconium presence was not shown. After calcination, figure B shows the diffraction patterns of monoclinic ZrO2 and a noble metal silver. Here these two peaks corresponds to the presence of ZrO2. Peaks found at 2 theta 27.05 and 55.02 shows the monoclinic ZrO2 and also silver metal. So HR term shows the formation of Ag at the size of this coarser nanoparticles from as 40 to 50. The scale is around 100 microns, 100 nanometer, I think. So, so the size distributes between 40 to 50 nanometer with an average of 45 nanometer, and a typical shell thickness is around 2 to 3 nanometer. So EDOX also shows the presence of silver, zirconium, oxygen and silver, zirconium and oxygen. No other impurities. So the photohemolysis. So here we did the photohemolysis as a function of fluence. light dose, that is percent hemolysis against light dose. So this is for different concentrations starting from 25 mg per ml to 200 mg per ml. So this shows that increase of concentration as well as light dose increases the percentage hemolysis, that is around 90% was lysed. Heme was lysed. So increasing the concentration as well as light dose, the percentage of hemolysis increases. So that is, so from this we have calculated the LD50, that is lethal dose for 50% for these concentrations, that is was found to be, light dose at 50, LD50 was found to be 108.72, 91.38, 59.07, 57.28, and this one for 100, 120, 150 and 175 and 200 mg respectively. So as the concentration increases, the light dose, the lethal dose decreases. So here this figure also shows the percentage hemolysis and in terms of concentration for different light doses in order to calculate the lethal concentration, that is 50% concentration for 50% hemolysis. That is, so here also starting from this 14 to 114 light dose for different concentrations. So as the concentration and light dose increases, the percentage hemolysis increases. Here also the LC values, from the LC values you can know that the LC value decreases for increase in light dose. Concentration increases with the light dose decreases. So we have, so the photodynamic therapy has two type of mechanism, type 1 and type 2 mechanism. Usually in type 1 mechanism the free radicals are formed. In type 2 mechanism the singlet oxygen is formed. So actually singlet oxygen is preferred one. So in order to know the mechanism of photohemolysis, we have carried out the hemolysis in the presence of GSH and glutathione and sodium azide, which are the best known quenchers for superoxide anion and singlet oxygen. So this figure shows the effect of scavenger, sodium azide, this one is for sodium azide and this is for GSH. So GH has no effect at all for, this is 100% this one without hemolysis, that is no hemolysis. Here the hemolysis was retarded in the case of sodium azide, that is, so 80% was retarded because of the presence of this sodium azide character, which has absorbed all the singlet oxygen produced. Thereby hemolysis was retarded. So from this we can conclude that the percent hemolysis is largely remained invariant in the presence of GSH, and which shows there is not much formation of superoxide anion, but the hemolysis was carried out in the presence of sodium azide. It was retarded up to 80%. So which shows the formation of singlet oxygen is predominant, dominant here. So we have also employed ESR technique to detect the presence of photogeneration of singlet oxygen by this Korshel type of nanoparticles using this temp as a spin trap under 420 nanometer LED light source illumination. So this is the characteristic for the formation of tempo radical, which shows the photogeneration of singlet oxygen from light irradiated Korshel nanoparticles. So cell viability studies So here, percentage of viability versus light dose. This also shows the viability. So starting from 50 to 200, the viability decreases on increasing the concentration. So LD50 was found to be 104, 89 and 64 for 100, 150 and 200 mol concentration. Here also the LD values decreases as the concentration increases. Conclusion: the photohemolysis study shows that human erythrocyte cells were effectively killed by the photoexcited core cell silver at ZrO2 nano photosensitizers. The percentage of hemolysis was considerably increased with an increase in both sensitizer concentration as well as light dose. The role of scavengers shows that the formation of singlet oxygen was dominant over that of superoxide anion, which shows the presence of the mechanism follows the type 2 mechanism. The visible photo generation of singlet oxygen was confirmed using ESR technique. Therefore, the photodynamic activity of silver, we can confirm that the photodynamic activity of this core shell particle favors type 2 mechanism. The cell viability studies in HeLa cells shows that cell viability was retarded by increasing concentration as well as light dose. So we have also carried out controls, that is sensitizer separately without irradiation. There is no, they were not toxic. The core shell particle without irradiation was non-toxic to us, both erythrocytes as well as HeLa cells. So from the above studies, it is concluded that this AG at ZrO2 core shell nanoparticle can be a better substitute for conventional photosensitizers such as organic dyes. So I want to thank the University Grants Commission for funding me to do this project. Now, thank you all for listening.